Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order this evening promptly at 6:30. The library does have new regulations in effect that means that we actually have to vacate the space just about at 8:30 so they can officially close up at 9. So we're on a pretty tight schedule this evening. So if you, let's just do housekeeping issues. Bathrooms are downstairs, and they will be closing at 8:15. You won't be able to get in after 8:15. So if you need to use the restrooms, please do so earlier than the 8:15 deadline. This evening is the first meeting of 2016. My name is Marge Masita, and I am presently the chair of ANC 6E. This evening, we will be electing new officers and a former commissioner who has held the elections for us for the past probably 4 or 5 years that I'm familiar with. Ms. Lydia Goring, I'm sorry Lydia, will preside for the elections, and if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to do that right now.
I'd like to take nominations for chair. Anybody?
I nominate Alex Padre.
I'd like to nominate Mark Masita.
Any others? Okay. All in favor for Alex Padro? Raise your hands. 3?
Is that 3?
3. All in favor of Marge Messina? 4.
Where did Antonio go?
Oh, you know.
So we're called if we miss it.
Okay. Marge Messina is chair.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much for your confidence.
Okay, we're gonna have vice chair, nomination for vice chair.
I like nominating myself every time.
I nominate Alex Padre.
Any others? Okay, all in favor of Rochelle Nigro? Raise your hand. I can vote for yourself.
I know. Oh, sorry, it's me. I already nominated both for myself.
All in favor of Alex Padro? I'm sorry, that was 1. 5, 6, 6. Alex Padro is vice chair. Secretary, nominations for secretary.
Okay, I won't accept that, so. Anyone else? I do enough communication stuff.
You got a secretary last time, didn't I?
No,
Antonio was it.
You know, I'm not leaving until I get a secretary.
okay. I nominate myself.
Okay. All in favor of Antonio?
We're not even questioning.
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Okay. Treasurer?
And I'm gonna Kevin, forever.
Kevin for treasurer, all in favor? Unanimous? Congratulations. Okay, so we have our board. Thank you all again for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Lydia, for coming out every year to do this. We're ever so grateful.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Number 2 on the agenda is the security funding approval. Kevin, do you
Yes.
want to just give a 50-second, what is it and why do we do it?
Okay.
So people know, not for us.
Okay, all ANCs must be bonded. The city has set up a program where the ANCs can be bonded through the city. If we don't do that, we could choose our own bonding agency, which would be much more expensive. So it's advantageous for us to pay to join the city security fund so we can be bonded. So at this point, I will move that ANC 6E join the ANC security fund and pay the amount of $25 to the DC treasurer.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
700, Karen?
Yeah.
Gold. Okay, no opposition. Okay, I probably should have put number 4 first, but number 3, we schedule of meetings and committee meetings. I've given you a list of A and C meetings as well as the ABRA and zoning committee meetings for the next year. Alex, I think you had a correction to my June. Would you mind telling me again what it is?
Let me pull up my calendar. We traditionally have the two committee meetings, ABC licensing and zoning and planning on the Thursday before the ANC meeting, and because of the number of weeks in the month of May, and the fact that the month of June begins on a Wednesday, the Thursday before our June 7th, 2016 meeting would actually be June the 2nd. So I would suggest that we change that May 26th date to June the 2nd.
Correct. Thank you. I guess I was not thinking when I did this. And the meeting is on June the 7th? That's correct?
Yep.
Okay. If you notice, I put a couple of asterisks by committee meetings. There is no meeting of this commission in August. You all don't have this, I'm sorry. It's just housework we have to do here. So I made the zoning and ABRA meeting for September the 1st, which allows us to meet before the September 6th meeting. I did the same thing in December because of the Thanksgiving holiday, so that we all have a copy of that. And that's the ABRA and zoning and ANC meetings. I would appreciate if, Kevin, you could perhaps give us by the next meeting, any meetings you're gonna have for grants and
We only meet when we have.
when we have
so
something.
I
Okay.
can't do
We're gonna be pushing that a little bit, so maybe we ought to think about scheduling 3 or 4 if we, just so that they're on the
I put
calendar.
it in the newsletter this month, so
Okay.
I mean,
And also,
I don't
Frank,
know what else to do.
public safety, sorry, I can't see you. Public safety as well, so that we can at least put this all up on the website, and that every meeting is then, every committee meeting is then available to the public, so that if they would like to join us, certainly they can feel free, and certainly they would be absolutely welcome. I've noticed so many newcomers coming in and being on committees, and I hope you all are gonna, volunteer to come and help again. If not, we may be tapping you, calling you and saying, wouldn't you like to join? So, be prepared, get your excuses ready, because we're gonna be coming to invite you to join us. Okay, so that's done. Antonio, would
Also,
you,
we haven't approved it.
oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to approve the monthly meeting and committee meeting schedule?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so 7-0-0. Okay, Antonio,
6. Because Kevin's stepped away.
sorry?
Kevin stepped away, so it's 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6-0-0. Want to call the roll? I know it should have been way first, but let's do it now, just so we know everybody's here.
Should we, Kevin?
He's present, we know.
We know he's here,
Oh,
we'll just,
okay. Hello, everybody. I'm calling the roll. ANC 6E01,
Present?
2,
that's Kevin.
oh, no.
Yep.
3, 4,
Here.
5,
Here,
6, here, 7.
present. Great. And thank you, Antonio. Could we get an approval of tonight's agenda as well? Anyone see anything that needs to be changed, or
Can we add a community impact statement? So it's one of the swaps.
didn't I put it on?
I don't think that's.
I thought I did. Yeah, number 6,
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
okay. Any other additions or corrections? All in favor of the,
I move that we approve the agenda.
thank you,
Second.
thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 7-0-0, Karen. Approval of last month's meeting minutes. Did you all get copies of it from Karen via email? Okay. Somebody want to make a motion on the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes of the December 2015 NCCC meeting with any corrections submitted to the recording secretary.
I would second that. Anyone have any comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 700, Karen. For those of you who don't know, I keep saying Karen. Karen is our minute taker, and she comes every month to make sure that our minutes are properly written and in the form that the city wishes us to have them, so we appreciate that. Okay, do we have our men in blue? I see one. Hey, come on down.
Good afternoon. I don't know if the other districts are gonna show up tonight or not. I know how I went. I'm coming from 3D,
Okay,
representing the PSA 308. And 308 had 3 robberies, all open. One at 1317 9th, 1200 block of 5th as well, and the last one at 1541 7th Street. And what I'm thinking about it, our captain wanted me to let everyone know, when you come to the districts for residential parking permits, the zone and the ward are the same thing. I guess there was some confusion at one point or another, but the zone and the ward are the same thing.
Well, we should correct.
And actually, I gave my
So
number
we
last time.
we should just correct you that there is a portion of Ward 6 that does have Zone 2 parking.
The portion of 6 that has 2.
Correct. So it's a number of blocks north of New York Avenue and Massachusetts Avenue, but not every block. And not every side of the street too, just to make it more confusing.
Of course. And I'm gonna give you another number for me.
okay.
Actually, in the station where I've been spending a little more time helping them out. 202-673-6815. My last name is P-O-E, like the poet. And any questions for me, right?
So going back to this, there was a stabbing by the convenience store, which is in my area on 7th, huh?
That's 1200 block of 7th Street.
Yes, so did we determine whether it was inside or outside yet?
From last I heard, they were saying it was inside.
Yes.
That's
And then
the
he
last I
wandered
heard.
out and then, but
Up at the
stopped on the
next block.
1200 block.
Correct.
And do we have any cameras from the United House of Prayer or from inside the store?
Well, they're actually working on 3 spots down there that supposed to have cameras. The House of Prayer, the Convention Center, and one of those businesses in that strip is supposed to have some video, possibly, because it's detected in a minute.
And then, so you're aware of this, for people who aren't aware, we've been talking about the corner store at Fifth and N for more than a year and a half. And with the efforts of myself, DCRA, and the police, the corner store, which has been selling synthetic drugs for quite a while now, will be shut down. I think it's January 16th. It'll be shut down for 18 months. They will not be able to conduct any business whatsoever. This is actually a pretty big deal. And then maybe, maybe they'll reapply after 18 months to get their business license again. But from now, or January 16th, 18 months, they cannot even sell Coca-Cola. So they will be completely shut down. That's a big deal. So that takes care of that. That was a constituent who was selling to other constituents. So, one down.
Yes.
I have a question for the officer. I just came from Northwest, I passed by New Jersey and 11th Street Skate Park, 15 individuals out there in the freezing cold, and I distinctly smelled smoking pot. My phone just died, so I went over to the officers parked at the 7-Eleven, and they said they were aware of complaints of people smoking in the park. There were 3 patrol cars parked at 7-Eleven, and there were people at the 11th Street Park, and it's like, we're not gonna even go over there to even try and deter it. It seems like the problem at a lot of parks, the N Street Park, the 11th Street Park, we just let open use of drugs take place. The police know about it, and instead of parking near there or standing near there, they just let it happen, which is enabling the criminal activity.
Did you want to address,
I didn't hear where he said it.
did you want to give us the address? so he can,
The 11th and Rhode Island Skate Park. People openly smoking pot, and the police officers parked at the 7-Eleven openly acknowledged that they knew it was taking place, but they were doing nothing.
The Shore Recreation Center. Public property.
Martin, just for the sake of me being able to notify somebody in the police department myself, would you just shoot
I'm
me?
sending an email right now.
Thank you so much, that I can get in touch with MPD and see what we can get going on that score. I appreciate it.
We have that problem oftentimes on Fifth Street as well. I had someone stop by my house last week. He said, man, you can get high in your neighborhood. You know, any given weekend, you may not see people, but you smell strong marijuana aroma in the atmosphere. So someone's gotta be outside smoking.
Good. Fifth and what?
That's 1300 block of Fifth Street.
Officer Poe, I will give you a buzz tomorrow, and maybe we can have a conversation before I call someone up the chain.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
quite welcome. Thank you for coming in. Is 1D here, or 5? No 5D tonight, okay, and 1D is not here. Officer, thank you so much. We appreciate your coming every month. Martin, would you like to just give a very brief comment on your draft letter and why we're doing it, and
Sure,
please,
absolutely. NC60 is going to consider,
please stand up so people in the back can hear you. I'm sorry.
sorry, no problem. The NC60 is going to consider a community impact statement against Antonio Sparks, who was recently convicted last month for carrying a Glock 26 pistol with a .30 caliber magazine. And if you're not sure what that looks like, it's I sent you a picture, but it's almost a gun as big as my arm, like this. The Glock is there, and the magazine is almost as long as my upper arm. It's just like, and he had it in his pants. And he brought this to the unit block at M Street Northwest, along with a significant and illegal amount of marijuana, as well as an illegal amount of cocaine. MPD was actually going to the unit block at M Street because there were reports of gunfire on that block. They happened to see Mr. Sparks, clutching something in his pants, so they went after him, and they arrested him and found the gun. But while they were arresting him, and a bystander was recording it on his own private phone camera, those of us in the court could hear from the recording significant gunfire taking place like right in the vicinity of that area. So I would urge the AT to endorse the community impact statement because of all the gunfire that those residents have to deal with. I mean, 3 incidents, the illegal gun, and 2 incidents of gunfire while MPD is right in the area. So I encourage you to support this.
One of the comments that I'd like to make is that Martin has been writing these statements in conjunction with the justice folks downtown, and on many occasions, what we write and what we submit is taken very seriously into consideration, and sentencing is evaluated based on some of what is submitted by the community group. So it's very important that we keep up and keep abreast of those people who have committed crimes in our area, and that we follow through with the sentencing. And I appreciate all the hard work that you put in getting these together for us. I make a motion that we accept the draft of the letter for Mr. Sparks' case, under the condition that as soon as the finalized version is ready, we will get it via.
I'll have it in the next couple of days.
Okay, that's fine.
A second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Abstain.
Okay. So 6-0-1. Okay. Abra, sir.
I did get a phone call from legal counsel for Ambar, and he was headed to the Shaw Library instead of our library.
Oh, okay.
So, because no one told him about the change in venue, so he is on his way, so
Okay.
if we want to move to the next item.
Sure. The variety store change is that also an agro license? Are those folks here? Also?
Where did we hear it all?
Okay, well,
Text them to make sure.
yeah, maybe they didn't go to the wrong place. In the interim then, let's move to the next presentation, which is 317 K Street, which is a hotel and condo combination. Ladies and gentlemen, you have 5 to 7 minutes this evening. Please try to adhere to that. Hey, Erwin.
Are we gonna bring out some plans?
Well, why don't you
All right,
start
sure,
chatting?
good. Okay, good evening. We're here on behalf of 311 K Street, which is the contract purchaser for the property that is at 4th and K Street. Our client has filed an application to the Board of Zoning Adjustment for variance relief in order to develop that property into a mixed-use development of hotel and condo uses. So we're proposing 200 hotel units and 30 residential units. The exact ownership entity for the residential has not been determined. We have plans here that our architect, Sean Pichon from PGN, will be happy to review. But we've discussed this project with the zoning committee on 2 occasions, on October 29th and again on November 23rd. The main direction that came out of those meetings was to look into the ability to provide valet parking spaces. Our project, due to the high water table in the area, is going to be able to provide now 48 parking spaces in two below grade areas. So the entirety of the below grade project will be devoted to parking for our project. And as part of that, we are seeking a variance relief for the remaining now 72 parking spaces that we're not going to be able to provide on site. And so we were directed by Marge and by the zoning committee to reach out to many of the nearby parking facilities in order to obtain letters of interest or LOIs from those parking facilities. We have great news that Erwin can provide, but we now have 4 letters of intent from the parking, from nearby parking facilities. I circulated a supplemental submission to March late in the day, and I have additional copies here. And then Erwin has the 4th letter, which we just got today. So the good news.
Letter?
No, it's actually a letter from Tag Gate,
All right.
which is across the street from the proposed site. There's 2 surface parking lots directly across on the south side of K Street.
The Burke parking lot.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them. And then there's 2 of them over here, and then they also own a parking lot at 3rd and I, which is a block down and
Right,
block down
right.
and block over.
So you're not considering City Vista at all anymore?
Well, City Vista is an option for those who don't, we don't have a letter of intent from them.
Okay.
But it is an opportunity for people to park there because there is over 100 parking spaces that are available at any point in time.
All right.
I
and-
wanted to check that out
Sorry.
myself because Erwin, you live in the same building as I do. I thought you could not, that it could not go to people who did not, for security reasons, did not live within the complex.
Well, for the secured apartment building, it is. But for the Safeway parking, the Safeway level, that level is available to Safeway patrons. That's available to outside public patrons and patrons who attend any of the restaurants in the area. Because as you know, that there's an elevator bank that takes you from that garage level up to the restaurant level on the K Street side. So it's a public parking garage that anybody, you know, if you have visitors, you can actually have them park there, but they would have to pay market rate.
Okay.
But so based on the LOIs that we have certainly been able to secure more than the 72 spaces that we need. The final count that we've been able to secure LOIs, Erwin, you can update that with our
Yes.
most recent tally.
It's in a range of about 140 to 150 spaces, so it's.
Right.
Can you speak louder? Can't hear you back here.
Yes, I'm sorry. So we.
Erwin, do you want my?
Yeah, actually, the room's small enough. We secured letters of interest from parking operators that can provide up to 140 to 150 off-site parking spaces, in addition to any available parking within the City Vista Safeway parking lot.
And then also in conjunction with discussions we've had with DDOT, we are proposing to locate 2 valet parking spaces on 4th Street. There has been a minor change to the plans since we went to the zoning committee, and that is DDOT has informed us, initially we were planning on using the existing curb cut off K Street, but DDOT has informed us that they would not support that because this is a different use on the site, and so accordingly we are consolidating all the circulation and curb cut access from one curb cut off 4th Street. And this has had the benefit of increasing the number of parking spaces that we can provide on site. We went from 42 to 48 spaces, which was a good thing. It also allows us to provide the service and the 20-foot service and delivery berth on site. And Erwin can speak to the fact that we anticipate that most of the deliveries to that site or to the site will be provided in those types of smaller vans that would go into that service delivery site. However, we're not going to be able to provide our loading berth on site, and so in discussions with DDOT, we are looking into options of most likely co-locating the on-street loading with the existing, or with the proposed valet spaces, which DDOT said that they would support. Also, the project at the Ellisdale project down the street has approval for a loading berth that we would have the opportunity to use, since it's generally a loading berth for anyone on the street. So we, and in addition with DDOT, we feel confident that we'll be able to accommodate loading on the street, and also the number of anticipated truck trips that would require that type of loading is very minimal. I mean, we're anticipating a generation of 3 or fewer truck trips per day to the site. So that's a change from what we were showing before, but we believe ultimately because we're able to add parking spaces, it's been a good change. And the other thing that's nice about consolidating the access on 4th Street is that we're really able to preserve the pedestrian parking area, the pedestrian view shed along K Street. And the other benefit that we've figured out is that since we're going to be closing the existing curb cut on K Street, we're going to be getting back to, potentially getting back 2 on-street parking spaces on K Street in front of the building that, or in front of the property that haven't existed in many, many years. So there are benefits.
Yeah, because anything at this point that would take away street parking, I would not be happy. And this is a new one for me, right, you guys? I would not really be too happy about that because of the fact that with all this construction and all the building, we lose parking spaces in my single-member district very often.
Yeah. And DDOT is, and we are very sensitive to that, and so we believe that this is a good accommodation to be able to have the potential to net back those 2 parking spaces on K Street that are in front of the existing curb cut. Yes?
So let me ask you this, so
Sure.
are these guaranteed, or, I mean, are those potential?
Yeah, Erwin can speak to that.
So given that with the construction of this development, it'll probably take in a range between 2 and 3 years. You can't enter into a contract not knowing what will happen 2 or 3 years from now. So they've identified that they have the opportunity to provide at least that number that's identified in your packet. So if anything, that number is a minimum number, because they want to be able to be conservative in the event that they have to pull back because of other developments in the area, that they can offer that exclusively to us.
Because my concern is, and we are all aware of the convention center,
Mhm.
and when the convention center has a large event, especially a local event like the health event that's coming up this weekend, that affects our entire area. And I don't see how these, I mean, they will fill up these garages. I mean, that's how many people come to the convention center when there's a large local event. So I mean,
Well, there's 2 points. One is, one of those garages that's providing us 20 parking spaces is a Paradigm garage, which is residential only. So in that case, we can have our residents park there, leaving the 48 within our building strictly only for the hotel. And we believe that 48 is more than enough to handle the demand generated by this 200-room hotel. So,
And you think
so that's the strategy that we're
And I
Do you
think,
think that people who are buying luxury condos are gonna walk 3 blocks to a parking space?
well, and so to that
Well,
point, I
Mark,
think,
it's actually only
Yeah.
1.5 blocks.
You think they're gonna walk 1.5? They're gonna be paying top dollar for an apartment, and they're gonna be walking 1.5 blocks to go get their car in the rain and the crap and the snow?
Well, at this
These
point,
are not, our
I don't
client
think so.
doesn't know whether these are gonna be luxury condos. Right now, he's looking at them being corporate housing or something to that effect, so you're not looking at luxury condos.
yeah, the apartments, because of the fact that the apartments are actually gonna be furnished, the intent is to actually minimize the amount of traffic that's generated by that, because you're not gonna get the move-ins and move-outs, because it's corporate housing.
and I think another point just to make you aware of is that this proposed hotel project has a very small amenity space. It's just approximately 2,000 square foot bar lounge area. We're not proposing ballrooms or rooftop terraces. And so, we anticipate that in terms of the hotel use, most of the people who are going to the hotel are people who are going to be business travelers or pleasure travelers who are not arriving by car, and that we don't anticipate a large number of revelers or people coming to rent out the space because it's just not available on this site or on this property. And people who are going to be driving in from the suburbs to come and make this a location destination, that's just not there aren't going to be weddings here for the most part. I doubt maybe very small ones, I don't know. But there's not going to be a large ballroom. There's not going to be a large function space that would attract people from around outside the city, really.
And what exactly are you asking us for?
So we're asking for approval for zoning relief for the parking. So we need parking variance relief. Also,